Hey folks, I just posted a video on Sheriff David Clarke, the Milwaukee County Sheriff, and I wanted to put that in some context. There's been a battle in Milwaukee by the Democrat in the Board of County Supervisors, named is Lee Holloway, and he wanted to use the Sheriff's Department to ship or bus parolees to and from work from their home, and Sheriff Clarke said, no, I'm not going to do that. And Lee Holloway, of course, wrote a letter back, why not, this and that. And Sheriff Clarke said, it's, taxpayers paying for it, etc., etc. But I wanted to show you, I'm going to read for you out loud, a letter from Sheriff Clarke to Lee Holloway, and this is a public letter he wrote. Office of the Sheriff, David A. Clarke, Jr., Sheriff, September 15th, 2011. To the Honorable Lee Holloway, Chairman, Milwaukee County Board of Supervisors, Milwaukee County Courthouse. Dear Chairman Holloway, thank you for responding to my call to action. Put away your liberal talking points for a moment so that we can have an honest discussion. First, let me address your threat to take money from my budget. The budget is not mine. I didn't present it, nor do I approve it. I oversee publicly owned assets. It's the public's money. If you want to take away money from them that I use to keep them safe and move it to provide transportation for violent criminals, then it is certainly within the scope of your authority as chairman of the county board. That's fewer hours spent patrolling parks and slower response to emergency services because the county board is providing taxi service to criminal inmates. Let me interject here. I take back what I said before about parolees. It was about busing inmates to and from work. And so Lee Holloway had threatened to take money out of the sheriff's budget to do this. And when the sheriff said no, he threatened to cut the sheriff's budget, which he ended up doing, which is why the sheriff, part of the reason why he made that recent video that I just showed you. So now I continue. Let me know how that plays publicly for you. My plan saves those taxpayers you referred to, as it costs $159 per day to house Huber inmates downtown versus $52 per day if I relocate Huber inmates to the Franklin facility. I don't know what formula you used, but that's how I made my fiscal decision. I want to address your comments on how I am doing these criminal inmates a disservice. In a word, your remarks are classic. It's always someone else's fault that career criminals are in the predicament they're in. It's the classic liberal stance. You see no reason to point out that they have done what personal choice they made to put themselves in this situation. No, Sheriff Clarke is the bad guy. Sorry, Chairman, but guilt trips don't work with me. I've done nothing except protect the public from wrongdoers. I'm willing to hold career criminals accountable, and you're not. They should be punished for victimizing their fellow human beings, not given pity. All of my empathy will be for the victims left in the wake of these criminals' actions. In your mind, society can't do enough for criminals. In my view, not only has society done enough for them, society doesn't owe them anything other than an opportunity for them to apologize and change course in terms of lifestyle choices. In fact, part of their sentence should be to have to make a public mea culpa. Having convicted criminals before this page here didn't copy too well. Having convicted criminals become more self-reliant and forcing them to learn how to overcome obstacles and go through hardships are all learning experiences that your cradle-to-casket philosophy does not allow. The ability to overcome obstacles builds character and instills a sense of self-responsibility, self-discipline, self-achievement, and self-sustenance. Your views have created a culture of dependency on someone else to solve all their problems, namely government in this instance. Your views make you an enabler in a criminal's dysfunctional existence. Chairman, please think about this for a second. These career criminals have made flawed decisions, such as dropping out of a school system that society has provided at virtually no cost to them at the K-12 level. They abuse drugs and alcohol. They murder, rape, take people's property at gunpoint, burglarize homes, steal cars, arm themselves illegally while shooting up and terrorizing neighborhoods and selling drugs as if it is a lawful, promising career. Then they get arrested, sometimes fighting and injuring law enforcement officers, cause taxpayers to pay for court services and incarceration costs after being the beneficiaries of judicial leniency and watered-down sentences, and you believe law-abiding citizens and I need to do even more in the form of providing a livery service. This is incredible. Apologize for the... like I said, it didn't copy over too well. Can't read it too well. First of all, a Huber sentence is a privilege. Second, if you look at why criminals are allowed out of Huber, you will see that it isn't just to go to work. It's supposedly for things like childcare, to take care of grandparent, to attend school. These are all honorable activities. Problem is that none of these creeps were engaged in these activities prior to being arrested, and if they had, they would not have had time to rape, rob, and pillage the community. One goof who got out on Huber to attend school attended MATC for 1 week and stopped going. Before he left, he stole a $12,000 high-end video camera from the class he signed up for. I know what you're thinking. Shame on MATC for allowing him access to that piece of equipment as part of the instruction. They should have had it chained to the floor, right? These are the miscreants that you want me to have pity on and worry about their transportation needs? Chairman, I don't know how they are going to get to their destination from the relocated Huber facility, and I don't care. If it were up to me, I wouldn't let them out every day, and therefore they wouldn't have transportation issues. I have to ask you, who was providing for their transportation needs before these inmates were arrested? It's their problem, not the government's. I'm running a jail, not a hotel with a complimentary shuttle service. Human beings are resourceful when they are forced to be. They'll figure it out. I know they will. We have notified the Huber inmates that the change will begin on December 1st, 2011, and can't read that. Something none of them has expressed outrage. Ironically, only you and other criminal advocates have. Interesting. My advice is to let them learn to rely on family and friends for their transportation needs. These are traditional institutions people used to rely on when things got tough. Thanks to do-gooder liberals and their misguided policies, now they rely solely on the government. Here is an opportunity to reverse that paradigm back to when people solve their own problems. Sincerely, David A. Clarke, Sheriff, Milwaukee County. As I said before, this guy is awesome.